that knowledge can be scaled and accessed by anyone.
So we can get black belts on the internet?
That's what got me thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Budo Brothers podcast is about to kick off. I'm here with my homeboy, Kyle.
How's it going, guys? Straight to your eardrums, another Budo Brother podcast.
All right, I hope this finds you well. Today, I would love to talk about the concept of certification. So in martial arts, we have, certifications that we work towards. You do a certain system, you get a piece of paper that says you know the system. Mm-hmm. And I just want to talk about this entire concept because I've actually been thinking about it lately. And one of the reasons what got me thinking about it was we produce digital seminars, online martial arts training seminars with some of the best martial artists in the world. We extract their knowledge, put it onto digital form, and so that knowledge can be scaled and accessed by anyone.
So we can get black belts on the internet?
That's what got me thinking. Because I had a lot of people reach out and be like, hey, listen, I really like the look of this Pakamut FMA course, but do you get a certificate at the end? And my gut was like, hell no, you don't get a certificate for watching videos. But it's like I kept getting this request, like people want a certificate for these online programs. And then that's what got me questioning the validity of certificates. So if I can get a certificate for doing an online course and sitting on my couch eating Cheetos, watching a martial arts tutorial, and I can be I can get certified. So that's where I saw the dilution of a certificate take place, where it's like, there is no way for me to verify that you have absorbed the content or even watched the content and can effectively reproduce the result that is created through the content. So it got me thinking about this whole concept. Now, Kyle, when you were a kid, mm-hmm. you wanted a certification in the form of a belt. Walk me through that desire.
I think a certification is just like a form of approval. Like you did it. It's like a badge. It's an award. Yeah. It's a badge. Like we as humans are structured to get achievement awards. Look at what video games are doing right now. Video games are so attention grabbing, and social media is so attention grabbing by giving you a award or a check mark or the next progression level or whatever it is. And we're not happy until we have that state of approval. So I wanted to be a black belt because I figured when I'm a black belt, I'm going to be a badass martial artist.
Can't touch me.
Yeah. Like, check. Did it. Black belt, death touch. Like, that's it. Like, nobody can mess with me. So in my mind, I was like, okay, that is the pinnacle of everything. Once I have this thing, I've learned it all. I now own all the knowledge possible about it, and it's now mine. But then you study martial arts and you go through it and you progress through it. It's like the black belt is just the beginning.
No kidding.
That's the entry level into learning the whole flow of martial arts. Is generally the black belt's the start.
Yeah, you learned your ABCs, and now it's time to string some sentences together.
Exactly. But certifications had a lot of validity. They were a way to ensure that the person that you were getting instruction from, or the person you were getting a service from, or the person individual you're working with was actually qualified.
Right.
And back when they were made, it was probably hard to reproduce the signature and the seal and everything on the certificate. You couldn't forge it.
Yeah.
So when you got a certificate saying like, I studied under this person, or this person is an engineer certified, or like,
yes. Yeah.
It meant something.
Right.
But just like everything in North America, if you can make money off of it, it's going to get watered down.
If you can rack them and crack them and stack them.
So people figured out, oh man, if I could create certifications and people will put money into it, like I could keep them coming back over and over again.
Sure.
So the market's flooded with certifications. Fitness industry, martial arts. Like You could get a certification in anything in fitness, and it doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
And I kind of feel like the pendulum is really swinging away from certifications because...
And more towards what?
Well, why did you need a certification before? You needed a certification to qualify who you were.
Or to validate your skill set.
To validate your skill set. Now, thanks to the internet, you literally have a catalog of every day of your life, if you want to, that follows you around. Like all your awards, your achievement can be posted on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Right?
It's more about what you did and what you can do than what somebody else says you're capable of doing.
Like if this guy's healing a whole bunch of people, let's just take doctor out of the equation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this guy,
he's got the touch.
Just healing people by touching them. Like he doesn't need a certification. He could just show you all the people that he healed and you'd be like,
if it works. Yeah, totally.
But you can validate that more because of like things like comments. You can go talk to other people. You can read stories, and you can verify that person a lot easier now. Which all of a sudden made me think of blockchain, but whatever.
One area that I give mad respect to is BJJ.
Right.
You have a belt, you have a rank in BJJ. Like that's one of the last arts that like when you're ranked and you have I'm a blue belt, like you're like, whoa, you're a blue belt in BJJ. All right. Yeah. Versus like, I got my red belt when I was 8 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I wonder from the old school BJJ practitioners, because I mean, you and I have recently been getting into BJJ.
Yeah, right.
I wonder how hard it used to be for the old school practitioners. Like, what did it mean to have a black belt back then? And is it the same? Is it exactly the same now? Or is it slightly watered down?
I don't know, man. I really don't have a barometer on that. But if I just look at where we're at and the different styles that we've been exposed to, I do feel like that art has maintained potency of rank and level, and it being directly correlated to your aptitude. How able are you? And I really think that that's admirable. I love that. I love that it hasn't been watered down. And you know what? Yeah, it's gonna take you 10 years to get to certain levels, and it should, because the challenge tends to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's going to make some people get bucked off the horse, but the ones that really want to ride it and really wanted to make it, they get that. And man, but that's why. So that's where a certification is like, that's an amazing feat. When you can do something like that, where how hard it is. Like for me, I know how hard it is to get an engineering degree.
Yeah.
The fact that my dumb ass was able to get an engineer, because I know how hard it was, like, man, it just felt good, because that was a certification that not a lot of people can get, and I did it, and I didn't do it alone. I didn't do it because I was smart. I did it because I knew how to work hard, and I learned how to work hard from being exposed to martial arts at a young age. I learned my weaknesses. I learned where I needed to work on my weaknesses. I went and sought out mentors and tutors and senseis to teach me the way.
Now here's a question though. So you got that certification. How has that certification benefited you in your life, where you're like, hey, I got this dope certification. Look at it, read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How has that served you? Like the knowledge I get.
Sure.
The knowledge has served you.
Yeah.
How has the piece of paper served you?
The funny thing is that it's a ticket to play. When you're in the corporate game, oh, you have your engineering degree? Great. Checkbox met. Nobody looked at my grades. No one looked at if I was a moron that couldn't do any designs or anything. It was more of who you are as a person. But I really do feel like that piece of paper, all that piece of paper did was say that I can do some really hard shit dedicate myself to it, follow through, and complete things. So if I can do that, I can do something of value to your company. And I really feel like it's legitimately, once you're in the work world, you think that people care about what it is you know. No, it's how you hold, it's who you are. It's what you can do. Yes, you can play this game called academia and jump through hoops and achieve things that other people can't. But when it all comes down to it, certifications aside, it's who you are and where can you go and what can you do. That's where it starts to come into meritocracy. Like,
so the certifications, are they then the gatekeepers? Like,
it's a gatekeeper. It really, it is a filter. It's a filter. Mm-hmm. And people that get through that filter are usually pretty, there's something you are the sperm that made it to the egg. Yeah. Like you push through. Not everybody, and you know what? It's okay that not, and it's not about better than, less than. It's just, hey, listen, this spark lit my flame. I committed to something. I completed it. And here's the proof.
Right.
So when you compare this into martial arts, and when you have some really complex systems, especially when you're talking about teaching an art, absolutely, certifications should be a thing. You can't have people like, I watched a couple of videos and now I'm a certified yada yada instructor. That's dilution.
Yeah.
So how do you keep things potent and maintain the essence of whatever art, whatever speciality, without that in-person, one-on-one training? Nothing's going to replace that.
No.
And we've had questions about that, like, you can't beat a... No, you can't beat a seminar. But a digital seminar is supposed to help supplement your current training.
Open windows, open doors, windows. Ideas.
Exactly.
Who should I seek out to train with?
Exactly. Yeah.
I know, though, like, one thing I do see with certification, though, I just feel they are important, but they're becoming decreasingly less important. And I think that has a lot to do with technology. Before, information wasn't as free. So to seek out information, you had to go to a place and extract it from one source. Now, with the internet and how people communicate, a lot of people get information from a lot of places way quicker. Like, look at martial arts. Not too long ago, if you were in a style, that was it. Like, you only knew about that style. You didn't even know about the other things out there. Mm-hmm. Like, even by location. Like, like, oh, Taekwondo, that's all of martial arts. Oh, right. Like karate, that's all martial arts.
In your world.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, UFC came. But the internet, though, allowed all these martial artists to talk and to share notes. Like, look what Bruce Lee had to do. The crazy feats he had to go to get all this knowledge of all these different types of arts.
Yeah. Now pressure test them.
And now that's out there everywhere. Mm-hmm. So information is way freer. And I think that's kind of why the UFC and things are starting to gain more popularity within the martial arts sphere. It's because it's taking out the need for certifications. Like, some of the people fighting in there aren't black belts.
Yes, exactly.
But they win.
And they take the best of, I'll take a little bit of A, a little bit of B, and sprinkle it with some C and magically make it my own.
Yeah. And mind you, they're athletes and they're going towards a specific purpose. And martial artists can mean so many things to so many people. But I mean, just looking at that, like, they pressure test it and certifications mean nothing in the UFC. Now, take that to more traditional side of things. Like, you kind of want to know what somebody's telling you is actually true when it comes to a traditional martial art, because you're trying to get involved and tie into the essence that was once taught. So I believe in that sphere, certifications are more important, because if you did not go seek out somebody who was legitimate, had that information, it's all fake, it's all telephone, right? So I do think in traditional martial arts it's a bit more important.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather be a specialist or a generalist in martial arts?
In martial arts? That's a tough one.
Right? Like, it's a loaded question. Would you rather be but like what made me think of this was when you were talking about MMA and you know, like it seems like, yeah, you know, somebody who can be a champion MMA fighter can be a green belt in whatever, right?
Totally.
So,
and a specialist but they have to be a specialist in
their
one
own
thing.
way.
In one thing, like they're the striker. There's one.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the question. So it's like, would you rather be a specialist being like loaded in one area, or being like meh, okay in a lot of areas? You know, same amount of oomph in both. You could have it concentrated or spread out. What would you prefer?
So, if we're speaking to me directly,
yes,
practicing my life has to be a generalist, because martial arts for me isn't like, I may have to defend myself maybe once or twice more in my life, or who knows, maybe it could be a lot more, but
yeah,
the times where I'm going to have to rely on it and like physically throw down or something are slim, if any.
Sure.
Right now, where I'm at in my life.
Right.
But martial arts as a practice, as a way to keep my body conditioned in shape, as a mindset tool, man, I'm going to use it for the rest of my life, and it's going to take me places I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
So I love learning about all the types of martial arts, all the different things that people are doing. It's interesting. It's celebrating all martial arts.
I love it. You just gave me an idea. All right. So we can be specialists in being generalists. There we hacked it. We hacked the system. You're being a specialist and being a generalist. So go try a bunch of different martial arts. Go try the style that you've never explored. Budo Brothers opened my eyes. It really did. I was a focused specialist, and then when you and I started Budo Brothers and we started to explore the entirety of martial arts and all of the different styles, systems, practitioners, we realized that we are perpetual white belts. And I would way rather be a perpetual student learning than a prideful instructor teaching.
And I gotta say, for all of the, has to be thousands of people we've encountered now, I sometimes learn more from the martial artists who don't have certifications than the ones who have 36 certifications.
Yes. And put it in their email signature.
Right. So in my experience, sometimes the best way that I can sniff out a good martial artist is movement doesn't lie.
Those hips don't lie.
Movement never
Shakira
lies.
got it right.
No matter what, if you see a person moving, you're like, okay,
he's got it.
He knows something.
Yeah. And you're not like, sorry, what are your credentials here?
Yeah.
You know, exactly. You're like, I don't know what that motherfucker knows, but he knows.
Yeah. Like, there's some people, when they throw a jab, you're like, whoa.
Tooth gone.
Yes. And I got to give it up to Professor Hunden.
Yes, James Hunden.
James Hunden. So, you know, his style is the joint locking manipulation stuff.
Yeah. Trap. Jew boxing? What is it?
Jew trap boxing.
Jew trap boxing. That's the one.
Just because of all the arts he's been in. And you watch it and it's elaborate and there's a lot of things going on. But when you see the man throw a jab, just a jab.
Yeah. I remember when we were in California,
yeah,
and you were like, Eric, did you see that? You like pulled me aside. Yes. Like, did you see his jab?
That man can fight.
And you were just like, yes, yeah.
Right? So like you forget about these things when you're showing like the locks and the concepts and this, and then they just throw a one punch and you're just like, okay, This man knows what's up.
We need to do a digital seminar with Professor James Hunden.
Yes.
Yeah, we're calling it now. We're sending out the bat signal. Get back to us.
100%.
That would be magic.
Yes.
That would be magic.
It would be.
He is a legend. He is a legend, and he is like, you know, when you meet someone, you're like, this human has clearly dedicated their life to this,
right? And
it is their passion. There's nothing that excites me more than when I get to witness that, and there's nothing that is more fulfilling than being able to help share that. And that's what I love about Budo Brothers.
And I got a Budo Brothers challenge. Ooh. Now, it's not directly related to certification, but it's more to help us out. It's a self-serving challenge.
Okay.
If you are listening to this podcast, message us about who you would like to see us do a digital seminar with.
Oh, yes. We want to start scheduling.
And if you send us, so we will research it. We'll lock it down. We won't we can't promise everybody that submits that we're going to, but we will do our best to look into that martial artist and see if it's a good synergy.
Exactly. Yeah. And obviously we can only do so many in a year.
Right.
But the ones that we do, we want them to be those, that special sauce, that, you know, that ingredient where you're like, they got it and they captured it.
Yes. And for you guys wondering about who and what direction we're going with digital seminars, we're never going to be the person or people that only look for the biggest and brightest stars because they're the most popular. We're always going to be searching for those niche, cool,
diamonds in the rough,
the radar, diamond in the rough people.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to get the superstars like Michelle Watterson and whoever comes in the future.
Master Wong.
Oh, yes.
We have to do one with
There's
Master Wong.
There's another one we're throwing out there.
Yes. Master Wong, we are doing a digital seminar with you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, we will be in England.
Coming at you.
Perfect. But I think that's a good place to leave it.
I love it.
Leave it.
Let's do it there. Any suggestions, hit us up, info@budobrothers.com. That is the best way to get in touch. Send your suggestions and let us know what you think. Hit us up with some more topics that you'd like us to talk about too.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. All right, guys. Well, until next week.
Let's sign off. I want everyone to lock in to the rest of your week and make the absolute most of it. And remember that no matter what happens, you're alive and life is beautiful.
Budo Brothers certified.
Oh, signing off.